We invite school children to come in and take a tour of our pumpkin displays, pick a pumpkin, have cider and donuts in the straw house. The petting farm here is for them. Just a little bit of a whole bunch of hands-on items.
With a pumpkin patch this big, you have to wonder how many pumpkins are in it.
Oh, we're just guessing. 7 acres, maybe 10,000 pumpkins.
After kids and families come through to choose a pumpkin, the leftovers are made available to deer hunters for bait. But before that happens, you still have tomorrow to get to the Cripps farm in Wilson Township to choose a pumpkin. Bill McGinty, 11 Action News, Alpena County.
Pumpkins aren't all the farm harvest. Spring through fall brings strawberries, raspberries, tart cherries, and blackberries in late summer. The public can walk...
I'm passing for the day. We'll turn the blend all the flavors together. We'll bottle 2 at a time and get right straight to the cooler. Seems to do well.
Oh, that's good.
At the Cripps farm in Alpena County, I'm Mike Lebrecht, 11 News.
Now, there are pumpkins, and there are pumpkin patches. Fields filled with the orange globes of October. Cripps Farm out near Hubbard Lake in Alpena has one of those patches. And every year, for a small fee, of course, they bring out hundreds of children to the field to pick their favorite jack-o'-lanterns.
See great big fat pumpkins? Did you get a great big fat pumpkin?
That big.
That big? Wow.
And there were some big pumpkins and some small pumpkins. Piles of pumpkins and miles of pumpkins. Even a pumpkin witch. Cripps Farm takes the children by hay wagon to the coveted pumpkin patch. Along the way, the kids see ghosts and goblins, skeletons and scary cats. But for these brave pumpkin-sized soldiers, it's worth the risk.
And not only do they have pumpkins, they have the best darn caramel apples in all the county.
We heat up the caramel and we just dip them in and we scrape off the excess. Then we roll them in a graham cracker crumbs, real fine. And then we put them in a cupcake paper holder. Let them harden and then they're ready to sell.
How long have you been making these?
Just today's my first day.
Francis Cripp, owner of the farm, says the pumpkin harvest started as a small operation 5 years ago and just mushroomed. Or did he mean pumpkined? In any case, it's time to head back out to the patch before the kids get plumb pumpkined out. Chris Schuler, News Center 11.
The pumpkin harvest will continue up to Halloween. For more information on the pumpkin harvest, call the Cripps Fruit Farm in Alpena. Let's take a quick look at the state temperatures right now. In Alpena, it's 35, relative humidity of 85%, dew point 31. Skies are cloudy, and the winds are south of 3 miles per hour.
An aside, and as Laurel Herron reports, the trend for the 90s may not include carving.
Everyone knows that money grows on trees, but since when have pumpkins? Well, they may not grow on trees, but contrary to popular belief, they are a fruit. Actually, they're classified as a berry since they form from a single blossom. Well, animal, vegetable, or mineral, you'll find plenty, some in not-so-traditional form at the Cripps Fruit Farm in Herron, Michigan.
The first year, we had the co-op nursery come out and wanted to pick a pumpkin from the deer patch. So it was good. The second year, we decided to give them a little ride to the deer patch. And pretty soon there was 2, 3, 4 groups, 5 groups come out. And then the third year, that's when we really started thinking about some other cider and stuff. And just kind of mushroomed from there.
Well, you've heard of Mr. Potato Head. Now there's Mr. Pumpkinhead. Would the real Mr. Pumpkinhead please stand up? It's hard to turn your own head without catching a glimpse of something orange or something that looks like it may have been orange. And then, just when you thought the squash mania was over, none other than a pumpkin spaceship. To say it's unique is putting it mildly. So who's the man behind this madness?
Well, a lot of them are kind of mostly my ideas, and a lot of them originate from, I look at books and get ideas, and we do see other pumpkin displays throughout the country.
I couldn't bring myself to show you the Teenage Mutant Ninja Pumpkins, but trust me, they're here too. Laurel Herron, 11 Action News.
The Cripps Fruit Farm is located off Herron Road in Herron, Michigan, and will be open until Halloween. Arnold Schwarzenegger
Paste. So bundle on up, leave your worries behind, and come on down for a taste. The Cripps family farm is doing something different, making fresh donuts and hot apple cider daily. Anyone who wants to stop and gaze at over 3,000 blinking lights will be invited in for a sip on the house. If you've seen enough lights and have already eaten your fair share of holiday goodies, there's more. You can ride the Christmas wagon back over the hills and select your own evergreen. It's not exactly a one-horse open sleigh, but the tractor-driven hay rides are sure to be enjoyed by the whole family. Or better yet, send the kids on a hayride and you can sip hot cider in the moonlight. If your toes can't take the cold, that's okay too. Mr. Cripps has thought of everything. Custom wreath making inside where it's warm and dry.
Oh, they smell so good.
So if commercialism has taken its toll on you this season, there is a refuge, a place with no cash register bells and no spray on snow. It's authentic. Come see for yourself. Laurel Herron, 11 Action News.
Autumn is making a dramatic appearance in northeastern Michigan. Summer has given way to changing colors on the trees and a crisp coolness in the air. As fall engulfs the area, kids' thoughts turn to one of their favorite times of the year, Halloween. At Cripps Farm in Wilson Township, fall is a special time of the year when pumpkins, ghouls, and goblins come out from hiding to ring in the Halloween tradition.
Well, we hope to open up October 6th, and we'll have Pumpkin Fantasyland tour starting then. They'll bring their families on the weekends. And during the weekdays, we schedule a lot of the school children. And they've been coming as far as Oscoda and Roger City and all around.
This is the 8th year Cripps Farm has offered their tribute to autumn and Halloween. And although they don't officially open until next week, people have already begun to sneak a peek at just what's going on. Some of those who came out today still haven't decided what costume they'll don October 31st.
I don't know what I'm going to be. I'm thinking. And I'm going to have some white makeup or a book. You know what I'm going to have on me? I'm going to have white makeup all over me. And then I'm going to have a black hair on me and some black stuff all over me.
In just about 4 weeks, Halloween will be upon us here in northeastern Michigan, and for the people and animals here at Cripps Farm in Alpena, of course that means their busiest time of the year.
It's picking up. It's getting busier every year. As long as the weather stays good, we're okay. But once the weather turns bad, it's a downturn. But other than the strawberry business, it's pretty busy.
If your school or group is interested in a hayride tour of Cripps Farm, give them a call to make reservations. It promises to be a downright ghoulish experience.
Natively blended with other desserts and fruits. Laurel Herron has more.
Only the strong survive. The theory applies to both berries and berry farmers, at least in Alpena County, where the count has dwindled from close to 300 to just 2 commercial growers in the past 40 years. Survivor Francis Cripps remembers when Alpena berries were shipped clear across the Atlantic and says it's those memories which keep him in the berry business.
I grew up with it in my blood. It's what I like to do. If you like doing it, it's rewarding. It's not like another job.
Governmental regulations regarding the do's and don'ts of hiring and housing migrant workers slowly forced area growers out of the business. Cripps says it's been difficult, but he wouldn't have it any other way.
We like to work with the migrants because they stick with us throughout the day, and the locals are more difficult because they don't tend to stay with us.
This season's been easy on the migrants. No hot, blistering sun to contend with. That's also good news for Alpena berries.
Well, ideal conditions is about 50 degrees at nighttime and about 70, 75 degrees in the daytime. Grow by night and ripen by day is really the key.
But with only 2 commercial growers left in Alpena County, one can't help but wonder if it isn't the abundance of TLC rather than chilly nights that keeps these berries sweeter than the rest. It doesn't get any better than this.
Or does it? Don't be so greedy and opt for a smaller variety.
The bigger ones, they're nice, but they tend to be a little more bland, but middle of the season they sweeten up and they get a little smaller. They're really good.
With the berry season running late this year, this week's peak. So break out your picking gloves and try to save more than you eat. Laurel Heron, 11 Action News. Than past years. Francis strawberries.
This year's strawberry season started out with pretty good moisture available, big berries, looked like a pretty heavy crop. Wasn't about a week into the season, we got that hot weather. Started to ripen the berries before they had a chance to grow. It did shorten us up considerable, probably about a week. Had a fairly decent crop. If the hot weather wouldn't have come, it would have been about 3 weeks long instead of a week and 4 days.
Today was the last day for Cripps' commercial strawberry business. And as you can see, there are no strawberries left here. The season was about 2 weeks shorter than he would have liked, but he does have one last hope for a good season.
They're the same bright color as strawberries, but they are tart cherries, and their season is just beginning. Cripps' farm is unique because it's the only you-pick cherry field in Alpena County.
For some reason, picking from a tree is enjoyable. That's some back-breaking work, I guess. And the kids can come out and kind of have a first-hand experience in picking cherries from a tree.
Cripps hopes temperatures cool off while people warm up to the idea of tart cherries.
Cherries over the years have not been available to the public. Now for me to start out again with cherries available, people got to learn to reuse them, learn to make cobblers and jams and cakes and pies. It's kind of slow getting started, getting back into people's diet and learn how to use them differently.
The season for tart cherries starts next week, so if you're going to try homemade cherry cobbler, now's the time to start picking. Allison Angley, 11 Action News.
Cripps says tart cherry season should last about 3 weeks. If temperatures do not keep rising, the cherries are beginning to ripen. They should be red or ready in 1 week. Sounds pretty good for Cherry Jubilee. Well, up next, we'll check in on the weather today.
But first, it's almost time for trick-or-treating. We've got a way to get you into the Halloween spirit. On doors searching for candy. If you are not in the Halloween spirit yet, Allison Angley may have found a place to lift your spirits. It's a farm that gives a new meaning to the term pumpkin patch.
'Tis the season for ghosts, goblins, witches, and of course, pumpkins. At Cripps Farm in Heron, Halloween pumpkin displays are just the measure to get kids of all ages ready to trick or treat.
Well, the best part is putting the displays together, but I guess the reaction of the kids is what really makes it all pay off. We spend a month putting it together, and then when the kids come out, that's when it pays off, just the expressions.
This is the 11th year Francis Cripps has turned his farm into a Halloween fantasy land.
Okay, we start out about August 31st, assembling the wagons, and more or less we have our plans already laid out for our designs. And then we call in about 6, 7 painters. And I start engineering some of the frameworks to the displays. As the wagons are going together, some of the framework is being welded and assembled.
When the displays are complete, the public is welcome, and every visitor has their own personal favorite.
The bat, the witch, Aladdin pumpkin, Santa's workshop.
If the displays aren't entertaining enough, you then have free range in this pumpkin patch to choose your own pumpkin. But make sure that your eyes aren't bigger than your hands, because the only rule is the pumpkin you choose is the pumpkin you must carry.
In Heron, Allison Angley, 11 Action News.
There are over 15 pumpkin displays in the Halloween fantasy land. All of the displays are created by Cripps and local painters. There are scenes from favorite movies and original creations. The hayride and the pumpkin picking are open 7 days a week through Halloween on October 31st.
Topping news.
Which we press cider on the weekends for the public to watch. And sometimes if we have a large school group, we'll press it for them too. And we have a petting farm that people can go in and pet the animals and stuff. And we have a market that people can buy. Like there's novelties and we sell cider and we also have food. So.
You said you got a pretty good crowd today. Just one of your bigger days today?
Yeah, this weekend's usually the best because yesterday we had a real big crowd too yesterday. It's nice out. The weather's real good. Last weekend it rained, so we didn't have very many people.
I do all the cartooning that you see. You know, I draw out the various different cartoon characters for the totem pole, the Addams Family, and things like that that you see on the ride.
Sometimes if I'm not sure what I want to do, I draw a pattern, like on the bat that I did over there.
Ice cream.
And
oh, you want the ice cream?
I just do smiley faces for
ice cream?
other ones.
We went to the petting place and we pet some animals, and then we went on a ride around and we went to the pumpkin patch. And some people picked out some pumpkins and some people didn't. And then we came back here and we had some donuts and exercise.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
You could do it again sometime?
Yeah, probably next year.
Are you going to put you in a Halloween mood?
Yeah.
What are you going to be this year?
I think a vampire.
Why a vampire?
I've never been a vampire, and I don't know, it's just different.